back to Colleen's Kitchen and how to eat vegetables with Colleen Schummer. Hey, so I am going to not make a vegetable dish. I'm going to make homemade bread. I wanted to show you how to make homemade bread with wheat berries. So I have spring red wheat berries here, spring hard red wheat berries, and I'm going to make my own flour. So I have a Vitamix, which I can probably sell these things because they're so wonderful, but you can do this in any high power blender. So I have a dry kind of blending container, and I'm going to use that. So all I do is put a little bit of flour, then I already made some flour, so I'm just going to show you for a demonstration. And just flour, right? So as you can see, it is perfectly made into flour, right? And I'm going to save that off to the side because I'll use that for my kneading. So I'm just going to take some water. I have just a little bit at room temperature. I'm just going to I take about a teaspoon and a quarter of the yeast. And what this is called setting up the yeast. So I'm just kind of letting that yeast kind of come back alive. I want to give it something to eat as I'm telling it to come back alive. So I'm just going to have a little bit of honey, and I just dip the spoon in, and whatever sticks to the spoon is what's going to go in my recipe. As you remember, I don't measure anything, but I go by kind of sight and feel, and of course things turn out different each time, but to me I think that's part of the fun. So I'm just going to put that in there like that, and let that yeast kind of eat that honey and set up. The yeast kind of goes into a gathering. I think they're enjoying the honey. But I'm going to just kind of smash them up on the sides so that they get nice and cloudy and do what they're supposed to do. Put my wheat berries away. I've just made a kind of a well inside of my wheat flour. And then I'm just going to give this a little bit more time. And I'm going to pour. That's it. This is all that goes into wheat bread. Now I have used barley by accident actually. Barley looks a lot like wheat berries, and whole barley I should say. And I was making it and it was just not turning out right. And then I realized what I had done. But you know, you can make bread with with barley berries. Now barley supposedly is one of those whole grains that have gluten. So if you have gluten issues, then of course you wouldn't want to have that. But most people don't. Well, if you don't have gluten issues, you can have any kind of flour, right? So I'm going to use wheat flour because we don't have any kind of gluten issues here at home. I absolutely love this bread. So it is not going to be as fluffy as store-bought bread or even like in a bakery, but I think it's just as lovely, and I know every ingredient that goes into it. So as you see here, I'm just pouring a little bit at a time just to make sure that I have enough moisture in there, but also enough flour to where I don't have like a soupy mess, right? So you can see I'm just kind of working it in. I think I'm just going to add just a little bit more because it's just not doing what I want it to do. There we go. Now with this wheat, with you making your own flour, you're not going to have the bread is not going to have that characteristic lightness that melts in your mouth. But as I always tell my students, if it melts in your mouth, then it's more like sugar, right? So we want this to kind of have a little texture to it. Oh, and this has just turned out perfectly. So I'm just going to keep kneading it. Now you can knead on a counter top, you know, put some flour in there on the counter and knead, but I just don't like the mess that causes. So I do this. It's kind of the same thing. If you have one of those KitchenAids, this would be a perfect place to put it. We don't have one of those yet, but maybe someday, right? I have a very simple cook. I use a very small amount of ingredients, and they're usually whole, and I try not to spend that much time in the kitchen, even though I love eating. There we go. Okay, so you can see this. And the more you knead it, the more it develops the gluten and the stretchy stuff of bread. So I can tell that it's already starting to give back to me, or push back. When it pushes back, that tells me that it is almost done being messed with, right? So right now, this is going to be my first rising, and all I'm going to do is, now, let me tell you what I actually do. Sometimes I put this in a plastic bag, put a little oil in a plastic bag, put it in the refrigerator, and come back to it some other day. Or I will let it rise, which I'm probably going to do today. Let it rise for a little bit to where it kind of doubles in size, and then I just bake it. That's it. That's bread, right? I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Hi, welcome back. I wanted to show you what I did. So I just kind of left it like this, probably for 2 hours. And as you can see, it has risen, right? So, and it's nice and fluffy. This is exactly what I want to see. So I'm going to show you a few things what I'm going to do with it in 1 second. All right, welcome back. So, earlier today we made our homemade flour out of wheat berries, and I told you I was going to do something with the risen bread. So here's what I do. I take the bread, I put a little bit of olive oil inside a bag, and then I just allow this to kind of sit in the refrigerator like that. As you can see, it's still going to rise. But the second one, I made a sweet cinnamon roll. Again, I love to eat, right? But I want, whenever I eat, I want it to be whole and integral and have good nutrients to it. So what I did is I took the bread, I added just a little bit of maple syrup, has some coconut butter, and I put some of the coconut oil on the bottom of the pan. And then I just rolled it out a little bit, and I'm just going to roll this up. Yes, you got to guess what it's going to be. It's going to be a cinnamon roll, but I'm going to make it right like that, and I'm going to cook this up, and I will show you again what it looks like. Hi, welcome back. I wanted to show you what the bread finally turned out to be. So I put a whole bunch of cinnamon on top, and just look at this. Oh my goodness. Like, wonderful. And I'm going to cut it in a little bit. Do you want me to cut it? I will cut it in. A cameraman, aka my son, says cut it. Alright, so we'll cut this. And look at this. Wonderful. You can see how the coconut butter stayed in there, and it's just loveliness. It's still warm, so we're going to enjoy that. Enjoy this bread. You do the same. Enjoy.